Guten Abend, Carly, Chris. Are you feeling good or bad over this moment in time?
Very good, thank you.
Sure, yeah, good. Yes, the spirit read, we were all singing visual. But I would like to say we were singing perhaps a little better tune than those in the physical. Your ancestors and your loved ones were dancing and singing as veils. Too many times we draw close to these places where the veil and the wall has sinned, where there is too many the colleagues that sit and frown and sit in sadness and just sit in fear. And it is wonderful for places such as this energetic center to be filled with dancing and laughter, and because this is a wonderful opportunity, is it not, colleague Chris, to communicate visual. You often speak to the spirit world as if we were your masters, and that we are beyond comprehension, but we also find great excitement, light and love when we are able to communicate with you as they. Do you understand
Yes,
this?
absolutely.
You often all speak, meine Güte, I look forward for my reading so that I may speak to my grandfather and mother, where they are equally excited to speak to you as they. Do you understand this? So, colleague Chris, do I have permission to speak to the fellow colleagues this evening?
You certainly do.
Dankeschön. Good evening, fellow colleagues. Are you feeling good?
Yes.
Sehr good, sehr good. I would like to say to you all, the empty chairs, there is a loved one that are sat in all the chairs. There is no room left energetically in this church this evening. All your loved ones are there sending their light and love to you. But even those that we may be there to assist you and help you and guide you upon your earthly journey, we, the spirit world, cannot interfere in your progression. Because you have all chosen to live and lead in this physical life. You have chosen your physical bodies to take you upon your earthly journey, to have these wonderful experiences. Because the earth is but a school, a place where the soul will reincarnate to learn its lessons that you have always wanted to learn. Imagine yourself watching your favorite movie, film. Can you all imagine this, fellow colleagues?
Yes.
And how excited are you immersed yourself in your imagination? And we find this very fascinating. You will sit there in front of a TV screen and scratch your heads and say, I would like to visualize to be that detective, or that superhero, or perhaps that crime writer, or perhaps you would like to be a murderer for a moment. Who is to know what you would like to experience? So you will look upon your favorite film, and you will look at it, all its characters in this film. And this is very much the same when you are in the spirit world. You will say, I want to come to have that experience, because there are very powerful lessons I want to learn. Because it is the experience that helps teach the spirit many lessons. It is the experience of living a physical life, mastering and experiencing the wonderful emotions that the human body can give you. Do you understand this, Kylie?
Yes.
And once you have played a certain role, you may have played the role of the detective and say, that was very good, I'm going to re-watch the film, I want to play a different part next time. I want to be the victim next time. And you're going to come back and you're going to experience that, and then you're going to experience something else. Because you are an inquisitive spirit. It is the physical experience, the earth plane, cannot be taught in the spirit world. Yes, you can learn these wonderful lessons in the spirit world, but it can take tens of thousands of years to learn them. You have been given opportunity to live this physical life to its fullest capacity. Do not waste your energies and to be distracted by wasteful opportunities of your pathways. Every day should be an opportunity for you to grow, to learn, and to have your physical experiences. You understand this, colleagues?
Yes.
Because so many souls return back home to the spirit world and say, I wish I should have done this, I should have done that. Have no regrets. There is no room for the soul to have any regrets. What you don't learn today, try tomorrow again. And if your time is up and you return to the spirit world, it matters not, because your soul is eternal. What you don't learn in this life, just take with you in your next life. And the next life after that, and the one after that, if you choose to reincarnate, of course. Now, I've just heard some of your thoughts to say, I'm never going to come back to the earth again, because my life has been too terrible. But I want to remind those, always show gratitude to your physical life, and that all your suffering, all your problems have been created by yourself. You have created your own suffering, your own problems. And what you can create, you can uncreate as well. If you can create suffering and sadness in your life, you can also create happiness and joy and laughter and friendship. Can you not, fellow colleagues?
Yes.
Some of you may concentrate on your life in an ungrateful manner. And I want to remind you that you are but a mirror. Stay positive, because you are the light. You don't become light, you don't become spirit, you are already spirit. You are already light, you are already love. You cannot change who you are not, for you are and will always be a soul in a quest, in an adventure to learn, to grow, to experience. Do you understand this, Carl?
Yes.
So it is important to remember that you are given free will, which means that you can choose and decide whatever pathway you want to walk. You can walk left or right, you can experience anything you want to. Which reminds me to remind you that there may be billions of souls and beings on the earth. There are billions of souls in the spirit world that would love to have your life, that would love to have your experience, but there is not enough physical bodies to reincarnate to. There are hundreds of billions of souls in the cosmic energy leyline systems that look upon the earth with admiration. You may look upon your earth and say, my Lukutu, what a terrible place. But we in the spirit world see the earth plane as a marvelous place, a great, powerful school where the soul can learn and have wondrous opportunities. The earth is your place of learning. a wonderful opportunity to grab it with both hands, to live your life to its fullest capacity. Do you understand this, Carly?
Yes.
But so many live and feel sorry for themselves, for they are embedded in lack of responsibilities and in grateful manner to their own soul and to their own capacities to grow and to learn. For you are here upon the earth for a divine purpose, to grow, to learn. And all the people that are in your life, your children, your mothers and fathers, your brothers and sisters, even those that you would never like to see again, are your greatest teachers. All the people that are in your life now are in your life because you have asked them to be there. You are not there to teach them, they are there to teach you. For there are lessons you have wanted to learn, there was roles you wanted to play. And sometimes souls will reincarnate to the earth to play specific roles to help you in your learning. Because there may be previous lives where you did not learn the lessons you intended to learn. And you said, I will try even harder in my next life. And you will ask a soul, better play this role for me. Make it even more difficult for me. And this bright and beautiful soul will lower their light to play a specific role to help you in your learning. So if you have a daughter or a son or a mother or father, they may test your patience, may trigger you, that you dislike. They are there for a reason, because most likely they are your greatest teachers. Do you understand this, Carly?
Yes.
So if you can accept these simple spiritual truths, you can accept them in your heart. It is important to remember, however, as well, that remember the earth's experience is not real. And what I mean by this, fellow colleagues, is that in a blink of an eye, you are going to be back to the spirit world. Your earth experience, this incarnation, lasts only seconds. In a blink of an eye, you're going to go back to your true home, the spirit vibration. So many souls find themselves so lost because they believe this is all they are. Do you understand this, colleagues?
Yes.
They see themselves so small. They see themselves so small that they cannot see beyond the three-dimensional eyes and ears and feelings. You are beyond this physical body. You are just having this experience at this moment in time for reason and purpose. Do you understand this, Carly?
Yes.
But so many souls believe, and this is the power of belief, because we want to remind you, fellow colleagues, we don't want you to simply believe, because belief is the greatest poison to the human soul. Because once you believe in something, you stop questioning, you stop feeling and sensing. Yes, you can have faith in yourselves and in each other. Yes, you can have hope in mankind and its progression and its elevation. You can have hope in mankind and in yourselves. But once you believe, you stop growing. Do you understand this, Carly?
Yes.
This is where mankind is moving away from belief. It is moving towards inner knowing. And knowing and believing are very different indeed, as they're not, fellow colleagues.
Yes.
When you believe, it is most likely someone asked you to believe. I am not asking you to believe what I'm saying to you now. I want you to step in your heart, and what does your heart tell you? Is it a knowing? Is it a feeling? What are you sensing? And this is where the great awakening is happening. We want you all in mankind to start questioning what you are seeing and feeling. Don't blindly believe everything you hear and sense. Question it, because within you is an intuition, and your intuition is a compass, and this compass will guide you exactly where you need to be. It is your feelings and your emotions of your compass and intuitions that will guide you to where you need to be. That is where your inner power lies. And that is where it is sovereign and free, because once you believe, you give up free will, because you shackle your soul to a belief system. It imprisons you. Do you understand this, Carly?
Yes.
And this is where I want to say with you, you are not servants, you are not masters, you are free, powerful beings of light and love. Do not entrap yourself in karma and in belief. Free yourself from belief. Step into your power, your flame, your inner knowing, and it will guide you exactly where you need to be. It will guide you to your divine purpose. And it is important to be very mindful, to be cautious in expression of your opinions and judgment on others, because the power of words was created tens of thousands of years ago, because there was a time in its Earth's history where there was only telepathy. Mankind will be working towards this new vibration, moving towards the 5th and 6th dimension, moving beyond words. And many of you have experienced this already. Some of you are having such powerful experiences that you cannot express them into words. Is this correct?
Yes.
This is because you are moving into an expression of the inner knowing power. And this is what is happening with knowledge. Some of you are expressing knowledge that you have never read in a book before. You just know. And that is very different between knowing and believing. Correct?
Yes.
And that is very powerful indeed. And this is what mankind is moving towards, beyond words. So be very cautious of how you express and use your tongue and use your words with each other's. Because so many times you curse yourselves with your words, because words are magic. And you are casting spells every time you use your mouth and your words, do you not?
Yes. Yes.
How many times have you said, this is very hard for me? Or I'm going to study hard. I'm going to work hard. How many times were you told by your father and mother to work hard? How many times have you told your children to study hard? Colleagues, have you said this before?
Yes.
And when you say it is going to be hard, it will be hard. Do you see the power of words? What about if we say study lovingly? What about study in laughter and fun and joy? What about working in joy and happiness? Is that not more important than working hard?
Yes.
Do you see the power of words? Very powerful how you say, Maniguta, I am sick. The moment you use the word I am, you become, because you're stepping in your I am power. Do you understand it?
Yes.
And this is how powerful your words can manifest once you step into your I am power. That you can create and manifest anything you desire you would like to manifest. Because often, and I want to finish this point with you all, is that we smile often, that you look to us, the Spirit World, and say, God. I want to remind you that you are God. I am God. God is everything you see. The tree, the flowers, the rocks, the mountains, the water, the air, the earth itself, the universe, everything is made of the same essence as God's light. God is no one that can be found upon a throne. Not one person that you will meet. You will be surely disappointed when you go back to the Spirit World and expect God to be there to judge you. Because the hardest thing of all is to judge thyself, is it not, fellow colleagues?
Yes.
And this is what the Creator wanted to create for humanity on the earth, is to give you all free will. Because it is easier to be told what you should and shouldn't do. Correct?
Yes.
Harder to have your own intuition, to have your own mind, and was giving you free will. Some of you say, meine Güte, I am not God. Well, you are all God. You are all light. You are made of the same essence of God themselves. We are all made of the same vibration. Do you understand this, God?
Yes.
Are you all agreeing with me because you want to disagree? You were going to say yes again, I see. Laughter is very good. And I want to remind you, all fellow colleagues, don't take your life as seriously as you do. Your ancestors are always saying to you, just laugh, just smile. If you stumble, just pick yourself back up. Tomorrow is a new day. Is it not?
Yes.
And if it is raining tomorrow, well, put a jacket on, put an umbrella and learn to dance in the storm and rain. Take every opportunity for positivity and to keep in your light. And you may say, I bet that would be easier for you to say you are not living my life. Well, I want to remind you, well, you have not lived my life as well, so do not compare yourselves with each other. And anything that is happening in your life is your own choosing. You have chosen your life for a purpose, to learn and to grow. Always show gratitude, but do not get lost in the earthly experience. Always be mindful. Pinch yourself sometimes. Remind yourselves that this is not who you are. This is just a role and a character that you are playing. And when you wake up, do you remember, fellow colleagues, how many times have you dreamt? And you say you woke up from your dream and thank goodness that was not real. Yes? Some of you don't like to admit this when they have done terrible things when you are sleeping. So you woken up from your sleep and said, meine Güte, thank goodness that was not real. I did not like that. And that is exactly what happens when you go back home to spirit. You will scratch your spirit and say, man, thank goodness that was just a dream. Do you understand this, Carl?
Yes.
So don't take your life as serious. You're going to go back to the spirit, some sooner than others, and it matters not. This is why so many souls get themselves lost in their character, in their personality. And if you can accept this simple spiritual truth, it does not matter what you call yourselves, what sexuality that you are, what leader you are, what names that you have placed upon yourself. It matters not. It just matters that you've just had this experience. Take what you can, take it with you, and take it back to the spirit world. But do not get caught up or distracted by the needs of the material world, because it will not bring you any happiness. Free yourself from all attachments and distractions, because sometimes man can get themselves caught up with these distractions and you think it is so real. Well, it is not. And you have often heard the stories, have you not? When your loved ones have come through and said, I'm giving you a beautiful flower, and it is the most beautiful flower you could ever imagine. Have you heard this before, Carly?
Yes.
And this will be beyond your wildest imaginations. Flowers that never die. Trees that grow magnificently and strong. Colours you have never could ever imagine. That is the beauty of the spirit world. That colour and vibration and frequency, because once you hit the earth plane vibration, it is very dense. Why some of you struggle to live upon the earth. Why there is so much mental distortion on the earth. Because you entangle yourself too much with your earthly experience. Do you understand this, Carly?
Yes.
I've been informed by your loved ones that I have made you think this evening, which doesn't happen very often, I have been informed. Often you just sit behind here and wait for the messages to come to you, and all you have to say is yes or no. Is this correct?
Yes.
Quite easy, is it not? It's quite interesting. So who would like to ask a question, Carly Craze?
Okay, does anybody, if you have a question, if you just raise your hand. Anybody like to start us off? Don't be shy, please. The lady at the front.
There was something profound that when I was meditating the other day,
Yes.
and the thought, I don't think it was my thought, it was a spirit thought, went through my head was, are we a human with a spirit, or are we a spirit in a human body? And my answer sort of was like, you need a pen, paper and plenty of time. Could you advise me on that?
Yes, well, this is very interesting because this is the same word that I expressed in the circle at the Purple Mountain.
Right.
Was it not, fellow Carly Craig?
Unbelievable.
And this
Really?
yes, because this is what we're trying to change. You see, that I want to give you some bad news, fellow colleagues.
Oh dear.
And is the doors locked, Colleague Craig?
I think so.
Yet you have all relied yourself on belief. Have you not, colleagues?
Yes.
99.8% of all your existence in this life is relied on belief. So I say to you now, what can you truly believe is true? Yes?
Yes.
You understand this?
Yes.
So what we are saying here is that as mankind is awakening and its frequency is being shifted, the old has to be washed away. The old thinking, the old programming has to be purged.
Yeah.
The old illusions have to be eradicated. Correct?
Yes.
So in order for a new earth to be built, the old has to be washed away. You cannot bring old programming into the earth because the vibrations are too high. This is why you all have to do the work on yourself, to prepare yourself in the new awakening. And to your question, it is related to this way of thinking, because your ancestors is helping you to help you purge old thinking. I like, for an example, what is your understanding to perhaps the chakras, for an example? Do you understand the knowledge on chakras?
I understand a little bit
Yes.
about chakras, yes.
So, did you know that perhaps 99.8% of all knowledge that you read in books on the earth are false,
Yes.
are being manipulated?
Yes.
And a lot of this knowledge is now being lifted and new knowledge is being coming forward.
Yes.
Now this knowledge, this is not new knowledge, this is knowledge that has been on the earth for millions of years, even billions of years in its first creation. It is in its light code, in its an electromagnetic energy, Leyland. Its coding is within the energy field of the earth. Do you understand this?
I do.
So these portals many thousands of years ago were closed because of the infiltration of the lower beings that was using this knowledge not for the good but for manipulation.
Yeah.
So now the earth's portals are reopening. This knowledge can now be safely be brought forward. Why so many souls now upon the earth, particularly you see as young children, are not young children but highly evolved beings that vibrate at the frequencies that are beyond your frequency.
Yeah.
That could have never happened 20, 30 physical years ago, because the vibration of the earth was still too dense. Do you understand
Yes, I
this?
do understand.
So to your question, is that am I a spirit? Where I want to state visual is that you are a spirit and your physical body is within you.
Right.
You are but a projection from the outer reality, from the spirit world,
Okay.
projecting into, like what we call a projector.
Yeah.
Do you understand
I do.
this? Because the earth vibration is so dense. This is why your physical body dies very quickly. It's because it vibrates so frequently, because your soul uses so much of the energy of the physical body.
Yeah.
You may say, well, 85 years was quite good. Well, I say to you, there is beings from other worlds that live 2,000-3,000 years old. And into spirit, because remember there is no time. That is 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe, my good, I have been corrected half a second.
Okay.
That was 85 years, 90 years was about half a second.
Right.
That is how fast time goes in the spirit world. Do you understand?
I do
this?
understand.
So knowledge is changing. Not that knowledge was incorrect, it's because knowledge can only be brought forward to the lowest being in a circle or in a congregation. Do you understand
I do.
this? Because we have to bring forward knowledge that everyone can understand.
Yeah.
That in perhaps 100 years, I might come through another trance medium in this church in 100 years in the future, but the ways that I speak and the way I share knowledge will be very different.
Yeah.
Because the evolution of the soul occurs. Do you understand
I do.
this? So knowledge changes. Do you have I answered your question?
You have answered my question.
Better soon.
Thank you very much.
Great question to start. Does anybody else have a question? Lady, so go for it.
I was just wondering, do we have the same family every time we are reincarnated? Are we got the same network around us?
It is most likely you would be part of what we call a soul group. And your soul group may consist about 5 to 8 million souls. Do you understand this? And within that soul group there are subgroups, soul groups, that all do different work. Dependability of what you've come back to learn.
Okay.
Do you understand this? And you see that what very interesting, as if you often say, "Man, good, I want to speak to my mother." Well, you have lived 280 times. How many mothers do you think you could have had? Which mother would you like to speak to?
Yeah.
Do you understand that?
Yes.
Because you play different roles. Maybe in this life you will have 3 children and you have your mother and father. In the next life you say, "I have played that role perfectly," and perhaps your mother did not get things quite right, and she will say, "Can you be my mother this time, and I'm going to be your daughter. But this time, don't make things easy for me, make things difficult, because I did not get things right in previous life." And you will say, "Are you sure? Because I can play this role very wisely to you." And you see, this is why you should not look at people in judging people who play certain roles, who may have played a little more of a difficult role. It is because they are there to teach you a lesson. And or perhaps you are there to teach them a lesson. Perhaps there was some karmas that needed to be sorted. Perhaps there was moments, and have you experienced this before, where an individual may need to look after a mother or father that may have dementia or Alzheimer's? Do you understand this?
Yes.
And that sometimes souls come back to have that role, It's because they are there to teach children or the loved one who's looking after them a very powerful lesson, because there may be a karma, because maybe in a previous life they looked after you and you want to repay that in a positive way. You see, karma doesn't always have to be negative. Karma can also be positive as well. So your role and your roles that you play with one another will be all different. There will be different stages, different roles, dependability of what you want to learn, what you want to experience. Do you understand this?
Yes, thank you.
Have I answered your question?
Yes, thank you.
Bitteschön. You accepted this in your heart because you did not believe it, but you felt it to be true. Yes?
Yes.
So that was your knowing.
Yes.
Yes? Who's next with the question, Bitte?
The lady just said.
Can I ask, when people go into work with spirit,
Yes.
enter into this and we learn and progress,
Yes.
do the people who are working on the earth plane choose the pathway themselves, or do the spirit world choose the pathway for them as who's to what? Whether you're a healer, whether you're a medium,
Yes.
whether you're... how does it work, please?
Yes, well, you've asked me 5 questions. So I will answer your first part of the question. Firstly, look at things objectively. Look at things as an observer, because you've caught yourself up in the mind. Firstly, you have not come back to the earth to choose, because you have already chosen. But you may argue to me to say, well, if I've already chosen, is there such thing as free will? There is free will because you have made your contract. You have said before your reincarnation, this is what I want to learn. These are the lessons I want to learn. This is the experiences I want to have. And you will speak to your friends to say, I'm very excited, I'm going to reincarnate. Some of your friends will say, no, not this time, no thank you. My previous life was too hard. I'm going to wait another 100 years. Some of your friends will say, yes, I would jump at the opportunity. And you will speak to each other, and you will speak to your guides, and your guides will say, are you sure you're going to come back? Let me have a look at your contract. And your guide will look at your contract, and the guide will say to you, you have asked many things you want to learn. And you say, yes, it will be okay, I will be fine. Once you hit the earth plane, you say, I was crazy. Why have I wanted to do all these things? Because once you hit the earth plane, you forget. You don't truly forget, because you go through a veil of amnesia. It would not be a school if you already knew all the answers. So you have to forget to find yourself again. It is part of the experience. Do you understand this?
I do.
So in your soul contract, you may have lessons you want to learn. Did you know that 92.2% of all medium healers have reincarnated to serve spirit? Because if you have the ability to serve a greater purpose, can help you in your elevation, can help you perhaps scrub out some of your old karma. Do you understand this? Can help you with some of your psychic debt. To be at service. The guides will say to you, well, if you want to serve us or serve the light, and if you want to be healer or medium, yes, this is something that you could do. But if you serve the spirit world in this way, we can help scrub some of the psychic debt that you have. Do you understand this? Because serving spirits, having a purpose, can help you in your progression. Do you understand it? And this is why often people will look upon mediums as masters. There is no masters. Do you understand this? You just have an ability, a connection to the spirit world. You should always show humility to your own gift. It is a gift because a gift can be given and it can be taken away. Do you understand this?
I do.
So it is part of your progression. And sometimes that can change because your earth can change, your patterns can change. Once you hit the earth plane, You have free will. Things can change, can it not? Because there is universal law of cause and effect. Your life pathway can change. It can take in any course at different times. But if you've come back for a specific divine purpose, perhaps a higher purpose, and you will find this with many mediums and healers that will come back to do specific spirit works. Do you understand this?
Yes.
So they've come back to do certain spiritual work. That is part of their divine purpose. They may have not come back for themselves, but they've come back for humanity. There is many thousands of souls that are doing this now. Do you understand this? They are not coming for themselves, they're coming in this great time of awakening. So have I answered your question, or do you have another question?
Well, no, you've answered my question, otherwise I'll be here all night.
You can ask me another question.
Well,
There is no time.
Okay, sorry, but there you go. Years ago I was told in the spiritualist church, in a meditation, that I went through, and then I heard Spirit speak, and Spirit said, take her back, she is not ready. And then we came back, and then I was taken away from the spirit world for a while, and then I came back, and then I came back very strongly. So that was my part of my question, is that do the spirit world determine whether we become mediums, or do some of us have the ability and then walk away?
What happened here is that what you must remember is patience. Right. That your soul is a very impatient soul.
Yes.
You want to learn everything now, not tomorrow. I want to learn today. Everything is a process, it's a journey. You have to take those small steps. There was just a little bit more of an inner work that you needed to do on yourself. Right. Before you can come back. Sometimes souls awaken themselves too quickly. Do you understand this? And you have to trust that everything that happens for reason and purpose. But remember, what was the word you just used? I was told. What does that come from? Believe. Is that what you believe, or is that what you know?
Well, I didn't know either then. I didn't believe and I didn't know.
Because you were not in your power.
Right.
But now you seem to be much more powerful in yourself.
Yes.
You know yourselves much better.
Yes.
And this is why the inner work is very important. Because you are reminded very, very powerfully, is that when you open yourself to spirit, you are opening yourself with many different energies. There is higher energies and there are lower energies. And if you don't know who you are, you don't know what work you have done, if you don't know who you are working with, you are opening yourself with energies that can manipulate you. Do you understand this?
Yes.
So there is another perspective that you may have not seen. Because where there is light, there is shade. There is higher beings, and then there are beings that want to manipulate and hijack. This is what is happening with many mediums now. Because they don't know who they are, they leave themselves so open for manipulation, for hijacking. We call this psychic hijacking, where spirits can enter and manipulate the spirit, the soul. And that happens because it is self-responsibility. It happens because they have asked it to happen. Remember, no one's the victim. Nothing happens by accident. Everything happens by choice. Do you understand this?
Yes.
This is all part of every medium's journey. Because the greatest thing you can do as one that wants to work with spirit is to understand what energy is. Yes?
Yes.
And this is what many of the old ancestors taught those that wanted to work as mediums 100 years ago, 150 years ago, is you sit in a circle. You sit in a circle for 5 years, 10 years, some even 20 years. And all you are doing is you are sitting in the energy. You find out who you are. You learn about energy even before you eagerly open to energies you do not understand. Many of you thought upon these words, these questions and answers now, have you not, fellow colleagues?
Yes.
Now, I'm not speaking these words to put fear in your heart, but to remind you gently is to step in your power, in your energies. Know who you are. Do the work on yourself. Have I answered your question?
Yes, you have. Thank you.
Much to think upon, is it not?
Yes.
Bitter schön.
Wonderful. Does anybody else have a question? I'll go to the gentleman at the back.
Okay, good evening.
Good night,
And it's just an inquiring one. Is there such a thing as Akashic records?
Yes, is there a thing as a Akashic record? Well, firstly, I want to state visual is that when you inquire, you ask questions.
Yeah.
And this is very important. This is only what we ask of all of you, is to open your heart and inquire. Don't just simply believe. Yes, there is a place called the Akashic Records. And this place is a place of the center of this universe. And the center of this universe, or imagine it as a ley line system, like a spider's web. Every planet, every soul is connected like a web of energy. Beyond this vibration, even on the astral realms and even on the spirit world. And you are bounded by light and frequency. Now, I'll give you an example. When your physical body returns to the earth and your soul returns home to the spirit world, about a year would have passed and you would have a life review. Do you know what this is?
No.
A life review happens to all souls. So once about a year of physical death, the soul will go to a place in the spirit world and will meet all their loved ones and guides, perhaps many that may still live on the earth. And you will sit around the circle and you will look upon a reflection. And in this reflection, every single deed, action and thought will be recorded. Do you understand this? So you're going to look at all the good things you did, all the people that you have helped, supported, inspired. You look at all the wonderful things you did in your life. But also on the other side, you're going to look at all the things you did wrong, or where you stumbled and made mistakes, all the people you hurt, intentionally and unintentionally. And there will be a time when perhaps your wife or husband or children will be reunited, and they too will have their life review. And what happens then, as a collective, you will come together as a family. And the child will say, Father, this is how you hurt me. And you will say, Meine Güte, I did not realize how much I hurt you. I am sorry. I ask for your forgiveness. And you're going to recall to one another things you did right and the things you did not get quite right. Now, in the Akashic records, every single thought, deed, and action is stored in this multi-computer system, in your understanding. Yes?
Yes.
So in this place also, I want to state visual, I do not want to blow your mind away. I say with a laughter. Do you know that time does not exist? Yes? Time is a human illusion. Yes?
Yes.
Because everything, your future, past and present, is happening at the same time. So already you have lived your next life and you've already lived your past and the present at the same time. Can you imagine this? You've already lived your next life, your next incarnation. But you say, but I'm here. No, your consciousness is here. Do you understand it? Because there is no time. So your past, future and present is happening at the same time. It is existing at the same time. Imagine it being a circle, and in this circle is all your life, like a mirror, and you're just gazing upon the mirror which life you want to live. It is your whole life, your whole existence. So already in your Akashic records is already your future incarnation. This is why certain souls who have the ability and gift to connect with the Akashic records can access not only your past, but also your future, because it has already happened. Are you with me, or have I lost you completely?
No, I'm still listening.
Do you understand this? So it is a place where souls can go and recall. And we often say, did you know that there is a place that is quite similar in the halls of learning, and not every soul is permitted to go here, is that there is a fire, a book with you all. You all have a book on the spirit Ved, in the halls of learning. Do you know this, fellow colleagues?
Yes.
And I've read some of these files, and they're quite interesting. Because do you know what these books are? They are not written in words. So how are they written?
Vibration.
Vibration. So what is a vibration but a memory? So when you read certain books, you are not reading words, you are actually feeling and sensing. This is why you're so inquisitive. You will read a book upon Chris and say, meine Güte, that was very interesting. Oh, he stumbled and fallen and all the wonderful experiences. I want to live that life. This is why how you inspire others. Don't look at your lives as negative. Don't look at your lives as if it is a punishment. It is wonderful, your experiences, even the bad ones you call it, the terrible ones you don't like. They're all part of your experience. Have I answered your question?
Yes, thank you.
Bittersten. Who is next with the questions, Bitter?
Does anybody else have a question? Oh, the lady just here.
Okay, good evening.
Guten Abend.
I would like to know that when we incarnate on the earth plane,
Yes.
is it only a fragment of the soul that comes in and the other part stays in spirit?
Your whole projection of your whole being. Now what happens? Sometimes when you enter this reality, a distortion can occur of the soul because of its density and its distortion, fragmentation of the earth. This is why certain colleagues will have psychotic or mental conditions where there can be a fragmentation of its reincarnation frequency. Remember, when you enter the physical body in the womb of the mother, it is only when the child moves through the mother, head into the earth, can it crown its crown chakra into the frequency of the earth. This is why we in the spirit Ved are against, in part, of cesareans. Do you understand this?
Yes.
And they are pushing this far too much, doctors, because they don't want to birth the child, the being, into the earth vibration, because the more that they can distort them, the easier they can be manipulated. Do you understand this?
Yes.
So the soul returns to the earth to live a long and healthy life without any forms of distortion, unless they have come back for certain reasons. Certain souls will come back to have certain experiences that would choose certain physical body. You will find this that you will call as Down syndrome children. Do you know what I'm speaking upon?
Yes.
And certain majority, about 95.2% of those souls are very enlightened beings. Do you understand this?
Yes.
They have come back in that physical body. This is why you should never ever pity or judge or give an opinion on any soul's progression. Even those that have chosen that you call as disability, we don't use this word in spirit. There is no such thing as disability. It's at certain size, because what you can learn being in that physical body in less than 50 years, you cannot learn in 20 lifetimes. Do you understand it?
Yes.
Sometimes the soul can get distorted because of its heavy density and vibration of the earth, where some shamans would do soul retrievals of the soul to help it. What a soul retrieval is lack of alignment, out of balance. Grounding and realignment needs to occur. Now, in the spirit way, when we spoke upon, are you a spirit in a physical body, or is the body in the spirit? And if the body is in the spirit, you are but a astral projection, a spiritual projection. So where is the rest of the soul? The rest of the soul is in the spirit way. Do you understand this?
Yes.
So quite interesting, is it not?
It is.
Have I answered your question, or do you have another question?
I've got loads, but I won't be greedy.
Thank
you.
A bit,
Thank you.
Does anybody else have a question? The lady right at the back.
Good evening.
Of course, Ben.
Mine's sort of a selfish question in a way.
Yes.
3 years ago, roughly around 3 years ago, I was given the circle to run in this church.
That is correct.
And I've got some of my students and my fledglings here, but I try to run my circle in love and light and actually fun. But I have had some people say you need to be more strict, and I don't think you get the best out of souls or energies or people if you are dominant.
Yes.
Am I right?
Right. Firstly, I want to state, because you've asked me many questions, so I'll ask you,
Sorry.
do not apologise. You only apologise if you've done something wrong, and if you've done something wrong, you have not. Firstly, if those that are leading a circle, I want to give you some good news. You are not teaching the student anything, because you are there to learn from them. There is no teacher or student. You are learning from one another. What you are doing is that it is your light. Remember, you are not sitting in the light. You're not sitting in the power, because how can you sit in something that you already are? You are light, you are love, you are truth. You don't become these things because you already are. So look at when we look at things of love. You may say, I love a child. Love is going to bring me love. I'm going to buy a car, that will help me with my love. My partner, my husband helps me with love. No, you are love. You are spirit. You are the epitome of spirit and God. You are the light. You don't sit in any power, because you are light, you are love, you are true. What you are doing as a leader is holding space where individuals can come and be their true self. Because once you start putting labels, once you start putting principles, you then hinder their natural organic growth.
Yeah.
Are you with me?
Yes.
And this is why individuals need to be careful of the spirit. There is no religion in the heart of spirit, because once you believe in something, do you see the power of belief?
Yes.
You stop questioning, you stop growing. It becomes dogmatic, you become a follower. And when you follow, you don't question.
Yes.
And this is what your guides struggle working with. Is because once you start believing, you trap yourself in the mind. What happens when you are in the mind? It stops the link to the spirit world. You can cause blocks and barriers. And it's quite interesting when mediums will say, where is spirit? Spirit has left me. And we say, we've never left you, we stood right by your side.
Yes.
So you have to ask yourself, why am I not feeling spirit? What is the barrier? And that is what medium should be teaching other students.
Yes.
Is to, how can I dissolve the barriers of who I am truly? Who is my true self? And it is so mind-blowingly simple connecting to the spirit with. You're not connecting because you are already spirit.
Yes.
This is what you are all confusing each other with. You're not connecting to spirit because you're already spirit. What you should be asking yourself is, what are the barriers? It could be lack of confidence. It could have been a teacher said something to you that made you an introvert. It causes the block. This is why inner healing work should always be in the forefront of any medium. Even before they start connecting. Start opening up to energy. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Yes, sometimes discipline is needed. Sometimes you need to practice your devotion, relearning patience. And sometimes a teacher will say to its students, it might take you 5 years, 10 years to be a medium. The next week only 2 people return. But at least it is the right 2 people. Rather than having 20 who's come for the wrong intentions. Do you see this, fellow colleagues?
Yes.
It is stripping away the old, remembering the new. You are holding the light. The teacher teaches the students nothing, but illuminates the pathway of learning. Do you understand this?
Yes.
So always be humbled.
Always.
Always show humility at all times. And yes, the Spirit Word says, yes, have fun, but all in moderation.
Yes.
Because when colleagues have fun, their barriers drop and communication becomes easier. Yes?
Yes.
Very simple, is it not?
Very.
Yes, very simple. Have I answered your question?
You have, thank you.
Better.
Okay, are we still okay, Albert?
Yes.
The lady just
The questions are the main part of this evening.
Yes.
Because it is about sharing knowledge and helping you to remember who you are. You are also eagerly wanting to hear about the Spirit Word and is my father and my mother okay? They say, for goodness sake, stop asking, we are happy. Do you understand this, colleague?
Yes.
And they are saying to you, live your life, have fun, enjoy your life. The places that you are in now in this church is a place of joy and happiness, not in morbidness and frowning and in sadness. You're here to have fun and to enjoy your life, are you not?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, good. Who's next with the question?
Ask your question.
On at least 3 occasions I'm aware of, from what I understand and know, I have been taken home through dream state, through meditation and through illness. Was it to learn something to help me in my life on this cycle?
It was, because you've asked me this question and your spirit guides want to reinforce this to you. Is that, and this is very important message to all colleagues, is that you have all reincarnated for reason and purpose. And your guides and your loved ones would have said to you, are you sure you want to live this life? It's going to be difficult. Yes, you're going to learn many things. Do not pile yourself too much pressure. What do? You do the opposite. You choose the most difficult path for you because it is too tempting. Are you with me, fellow colleagues?
Yes.
Because you are so inquisitive, so tempting, and you say, man, you go to what I can experience, it is going to be very powerful. But then when you hit the earth plane, you soon realize it is not as easy as you thought. And sometimes many souls, sadly, return home to spirit by their own hands. And this is the spirit with values of universal law, one should never take their own physical life, because it is choice. You have free will to live your life in this moment. Some souls can leave the physical body, and what you experienced, my friend, was for reason to remind you to appreciate your life and the lessons you have come back to learn. Do not always go to the light as a way to escape your physical earth plane lessons and karma. Do you understand this?
Yes, I do.
And we say to you, if you want to come back to spirit, you can come back to spirit. And you say, actually, I'm not going to. And your guide says, good. Because we say to you, because what you don't get right in this life, you have to try harder next life. Do you understand this?
Yeah, very
And
much
we say this to the college, you want to drift too far, drift too far. You have choice and free will. But always stay humble, always stay grounded, and always show appreciation of your life. Do you understand this?
Yeah, very appreciated.
Yes, yes, bitte schön. Who's next with the question?
Does anybody else have a question?
Can I just have a quick one?
Yes, certainly can. Ask another.
Just, sorry, Barry, I'm going back. When you said about the birth, and you said with the head and the crown chakra came through.
Yes.
Well, I was born breech, and then when I carried on, I've nearly passed away quite a few times through my life, and I've been saved at sort of the last minute and came.
No, you was not saved.
Was
But
it?
no, you were not saved, you kept yourself here. This is a very misunderstanding. There is no one that can rescue you. Even when you are in your hospitals and the doctors and nurses are there and they say they have rescued you, they have saved you, they have not. When you have been done CPR on your heart and your heart has stopped, it is your soul that decides to stay, not the machine. Do you understand this?
Yeah.
Because no soul can be saved, no one can be rescued. So you decided to stay. Just because there was fragmentations of the physical body. This is why all pregnancies, all mothers should have a birthing nurse mother who is able to bring the soul correctly into the earth plane vibration. Often you will find mothers who their first child, because remember you are transforming from being a woman to being a mother. So when you are giving birth to a child, not only is it difficult to give birth to a child, it can be tenuous, could be difficult and hard, and hours and hours of labour you could be in. Because this is a very special occasion. Pregnancies is one of the most sacred processes an individual can go through. Do you understand this? And a birthing mother can help bring that child in. As the mother transforms from the female's perspective as a woman, and she transforms as being a mother. And you've heard these stories, have you not, where females have changed overnight, where they have become mother, and motherhood is who they've transformed to.
Yeah.
Do you understand this? Because pulling the crown chakra into this dimension is one of the most important. One way to sever the mother's connection with the child is to cut them through the sacral area. Do you want, not through the stomach, through the sacral area. It's one of the most damaging things a mother can go through. And often 20 years, 5 months, depending on the individual, there is consequences to that breach energetically that has to be a shaman. In the very old ways, the shamans would correct this during birth. But because the doctors and nurses don't have this knowledge, you are all wide open and the distortions and easily manipulated. Do you understand, Jay?
Yes.
Have I answered your question?
No, but I could just go on forever. I don't understand going from the crown chakra because I was born breech. Then does that mean that my root chakra is the most powerful?
In 9, it is not. You are thinking of the mind.
Yes.
you were thinking physically. It's because what happened is that you were not ready to be born. It was a forced labour birth. And sometimes accidents can happen. You entangled yourself in the womb of the mother. It's just that it took you a little bit longer to rectify the distortion. Do you understand in the healing prospect?
Yes.
Do you understand this?
Yes.
And sometimes, because certain doctors and nurses do not have the knowledge on the energy perspective. Yes, they have very powerful knowledge in relation to the physicality of the birth and the anatomy of the womb. And you see, the entrance of the root of the mother is very sacred. It is birthing the child through that sacred canal. And that is what we call the portal. The mother is birthing that portal into the earth, attaching it to the frequency of the earth. It's just that you were slightly preached. And this is what happens sometimes. It does not mean your root is stronger than the crown. Your crown chakra is very open and vibrates at an open speed. Do you understand this?
Yes.
So do not always look at things physically, but look at things energetically. It will help you in your understanding. Do you understand this?
I do now, yes, thank you.
And we will have a few more questions before colleague Stephen returns.
We'll go to the lady at the back then at the front after. Is that okay? Yeah. You want to ask your question? Yeah.
Oh, sorry. We're talking about pregnancies and such. I would like to know what the stand is in our higher life of abortion, of people deliberately getting rid of a baby.
Yes, it's many different facets to this question. Now, firstly, on the spiritual perspective, is that to see that you must look at things much deeper than you look at the surface. Let us have a look at, I will give you something to think about. Look at prisons. How many prisons are there now in your country?
Many.
Now, we see it is so easy, is it not? You know what we see in the spirit world? Is that you use prisons to throw away your family and friends. Is prisons a success, or is it a failure on society? Where society has failed, community has failed. Do you understand this?
Yes.
So when we look at individuals that take drugs and drink, should we throw them away? Should we judge these individuals because they have made a mistake? You see, we in the spirit world see everything through the eyes of unconditional love. Do you understand this?
Yes.
So when we look at things such as pregnancies, is that the sacredness of sex, the sanctity of sex has been distorted. Because in the ancient times, intimacy and sex, not just on the physicality, is important. What do you think you are doing spiritually when you are intimate with an individual? What do you think is happening energetically?
Karma.
Between two people.
You are exchanging what?
Energy.
You are exchanging energy. Now what happens if one individual have not sorted their trauma out? They take drugs and drink, or perhaps have been sexually abused. What happens with their energy when they're intimate with another? You can imprint your energy onto that individual, particularly with empathic individuals. What happens when you have multiple partners?
Yeah.
You're exchanging energy. Now, I'm not speaking these words in judgment, I'm speaking them of energy, on the physics of energy, what happens. So now there is such openness, because there is no thought or feeling, because in the very 150 years ago, there was no such thing as contraception, which meant that the mother and father had two things in mind. What do you think they were? If they're going to be intimate with one another. to have a child, to have children. Now, having a child is a sacred duty. Yes? You see, this is what mankind has forgotten. You go around living your lives ignorantly and unfaithfully to your own rituals. You just eat things without thinking, you are intimate without thinking. Everything you see is energy and thought and meaning and power and energy. Are you still with me, fellow colleagues?
Yes.
Yes.
So in relation to your question with abortions, look at things, why is there more a need for abortions? It's because the sanctity and the sacredness of intimacy has been lost. Yes?
Yes.
There is an exchange of the over-sexualization of unhealed trauma through, what do you think, what chakra? The sacral chakra, where often sexual abuse occurs. Yes?
Yes.
And then what happens when you don't hear something? You project it. Yes? So when someone is unkind to you, don't take it personal. Most likely they are projecting an unheard emotion. Yes? So is emotion what is the spirit with thoughts? Well, one should never take another life. Do you understand? We will call it what it is. You are taking another life. Now, how is that life formed? The question is there a soul in that physical? It depends on that individual. Sometimes a soul will not connect to the physical body till about 15 to 20 weeks. Some souls, about 22.1% of new souls, will come close to these beings, to these mothers, to try what it would feel like to be in a physical body, knowing there's going to be an abortion, because they just want to experience it. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Do you all understand this, Carly?
Yes.
Yes.
However, there is also everything may be written in your soul contract as well, so I cannot speak upon all females, because every person has a different past, different soul contracts. Do you understand this? But you see, you must strip away. It's not simple as this to eradicate a child or from the womb. Is look at why is it keep happening? Why is it happening more than ever before? Because the community, which is the heart of the family, has been distorted, has been lost. And if you bring back the heart and the community, you will bring around better understanding of what you are all avoiding. Have I answered your question?
Thank you.
Better, sir. Who is next with the question? Maybe two more questions, and then colleague Stephen must return.
Can I just ask again, you were talking about a baby that comes from the sacral. I've got a granddaughter who recently had a cesarean birth.
That is correct.
And I'm just wondering how I can help her then if she goes through, as you explaining, difficulty. How would that?
Are you speaking upon the actual birth, or once the child's been born?
The mother, yes. The child is now here.
Yes.
So I'm just wondering how to help the mother if she goes through difficulty, as you say, they may.
Yes. What often happens is that because it is an unnatural birth, the mother will often fear, because she is not fully transformed from the feminine aspect to the role of the mother archetype. Okay. Do you understand this?
Yeah.
So therefore, most likely is that the females that we're speaking upon, you see that manipulation can only occur if the soul allows it. Remember, there is free will. Do you understand this?
Yes.
And you see that sometimes healing work, deep healing work can occur to help dissolve some of the scarring that happens. Because I want to state with you, when someone cuts into you, they are not just cutting into your skin, they're cutting into your auric field.
Yeah.
And when that opens, your auric field is your first line of defense. And often, a mother will have repercussions on the physical health 20, 30, 40 years after. Lower back problems, hip problems, cervix problems, stomach problems, because of the natural process of unnatural birth, because it's unhealed trauma, because birthing causes trauma in itself.
Yeah.
Do you understand this?
Yeah.
So what you can do is certain shamans, is what you can even do after. I have been just informed that if a mother has given birth in a cesarean's perspective, then even many days after, you can have birthing nurses that will come to your home who have the knowledge that can help rebirth you. Even after 20 years, you can go through the same birthing experience as if you were giving birth to that child again. That is what happened to certain tribes in Africa. That if a child was born in an unnatural state, that days after, depending on the strength of the mother, even a year after, the child will be in a birthing circle, and they will replicate the birthing experience that will last many days, that will help shift the energetic blocks that's within them. Are you still with me?
Sort of.
You see, much to think upon, is there not?
There is, yeah.
Yes, but do not overthink this. It's not that someone's done right or wrong, it's just the process of energy.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
So one more question, bitte colleague Craig.
Okay, just ready there.
Good evening again.
Guten Abend.
My mind boggles at the energetic exchange that is from spirit world for souls who want to incarnate on the earth plane. Is there, like I'm putting it, is there a pecking order that souls come? If there's so many souls wanting to come down,
yes.
how does that happen?
Where it is divinely orchestrated. There are beings upon beings or different vibrations that don't decide. You see, remember, it's choice. You don't have to come down. Do you understand it? And remember, everything happens in cycles.
Okay.
Yes? You have certain soul groups that will all come back at the same time, and then they will come back to the spirit veil, and then the next soul group. Just imagine this as being generations. Yes? Different generations come to do different type of works that will formulate different types of structures. Now, what can occur is that about 150 years ago, there was a call sent out to the universe because the earth was going in a direction that was going to destroy itself. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Because mankind was going down a direction that was too dark and was going to destroy itself. And this was in the creation to a world war, and also the creation of the nuclear weapon system that was meant to have wiped out the human race. So it's ignorance and so forth. But you see, because there is free will on the earth, no spirit can interfere. Do you understand this?
Yes.
So we cannot step in and change the plan. But what we can do is send certain souls to the earth that will help infiltrate and also do their spiritual work. But there's also some worries that certain enlightened beings would find it too difficult. It is part of the Great Awakening. Some you will succeed and sometimes you don't. It is the way of things. Sometimes you will succeed and sometimes you don't. So what happened then about 150 years ago? A call was sent out. to say, come back, would you like to come back to the earth, because the earth needs help. The earth needs transforming. And there were hundreds of millions of souls that want to volunteer. We call them volunteers because they volunteered to be here. I will just give you an example. Colleague Stephen is a volunteer. So colleague Stephen was meant to have come down at this particular time because colleague Stephen chose to come back. There was another soul that was meant to take colleague Stephen's physical body. Colleague Stephen spoken to this soul because it was an agreement, because this individual said this was the lineage I wanted to reincarnate to. Do you understand this?
Yes.
And this soul said, I know what you're trying to do, I'm going to take a step back and I allow you to take on this physical body in this life. And therefore, colleague Stephen chosen this life in this moment. And this is why, have you heard the expression, I feel out of place in my family?
Yes.
I feel like a black sheep of the family. And most likely you are a volunteer that feels very different. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Because colleague Stephen chosen as part of his divine purpose to do his spiritual work in this way. Do you understand?
Yes.
This is what happens.
Okay.
Do you understand? Are you still with me? Or
Yes.
Yes. Have I just given you a bit more better understanding?
Yes, thank you.
But remember, everything has free will. If it is your choice, you have an opportunity. You see that the earth, there is many different other realities. You do not obsess your mind with the earth plane. Yes, the earth plane is a very fascinating vibration because the earth is a place that can learn many wonderful lessons. But there are tens of hundreds of thousands of other planets. Why do you think your pets? Do you know that your cats and your dogs are also a soul? Do you understand this?
I do.
And do you know that their souls will say, well, I can't come back in a physical earth human body, but I'm going to come back as a cat and dog, but be close to the earth human experience. Mm-hmm. So often they will be companions to the human soul, because that is the closest they can experience of being a human spirit.
Okay.
Being in your company in your energy field. Because many cats and dogs, that is their prior preparation before their next incarnation.
Okay.
Do you understand this?
I do.
And there's some souls who will say, well, there is no room for me to come back to a physical body. I might come back maybe as a tree or as a flower. You come back to different, everything has a soul. You're not going to decrease, you're not going to come back as a human soul and then going to reincarnate in an animal. No, this is not how it works. You always progress moving forward. There is other ways that you can reincarnate too. You can spend your lifetime in the halls of learning and read books and experiences. Because when you return back to the spirit world, there's going to be thousands of your friends who say, what was it like? Was it good? Tell me about your stories. And you will say, man, you give me 2 minutes, Peter. They want to shake your hand and they say, what was it like? Was it good? They're not going to want to hear about your terrible stories. Do you understand that?
Yes.
A bit of that. Now, colleague Chris, do you have any questions?
No, Albert. It's been
yes.
Some very fascinating questions tonight.
Yes,
I enjoyed it.
That is good. I want you all to stay positive and remember, the spirit world sees everything. Sees everything that you get up to. The good, the funny, and the not so good. We are not there to judge you, we're there to assist you, help you, and guide you. And I want to state with you that it is not the end of time, it is not the end of the world. Tomorrow when you wake up, you will wake up with a smile and great appreciation with your life. Will you not?
Yes.
That was about 82.7%. Oh, so good. Colleague Stephen's returning. Auf Wiedersehen.
Thank you, Albert.
Thank you, Albert.